Guess what, Lions? For as little as $5 a month, you can get access to exclusive bonus audio content and help this program grow by joining the Lions of Liberty Pride. To learn more, head over to lionsofliberty.com/support.
I agree with him a lot of the time, too. I got to admit, he's like, I loved it when he took down J.K. Rowling for her whole shit about the refugees. He's like, put him up in your mansion of 400 rooms, and calling out these people. That was pretty funny.
J.K. Rowling is a vile piece of shit.
And we've got a cold open. Check.
Welcome to the Lions of Liberty podcast. Here's your host, your guide, your shining beacon of liberty, Marc Claire.
Welcome back, friends, to another edition of your favorite podcast ever, I presume. Or at least your favorite Liberty podcast that you're listening to right now. I'll take whatever I can get, quite frankly, but you are back here with another edition of Lions of Liberty. This is episode 314, which means you can find today's show notes over at lionsofliberty.com/314. And we do a lot of different types of shows here on the Lions of Liberty podcast feed. You've got me, Marc Claire, every single Monday, where I bring you one-on-one interviews with big names in the Liberty movement. Then every Wednesday, you get a weekly shot of comedy, culture, and liberty with Brian McWilliams, tackling them current events on Electric Liberty Land. And of course, John Odermatt continues to expose that broken, nasty criminal justice system every single Friday on Felony Friday. But today is honestly the day I look forward to every single month because, my friends, it is time for America's favorite alcohol-fueled Liberty talk show. That's right, it's Libertarians in Living Rooms Drinking Liquor. And this, of course, is when I bring in my fellow Liberty Lions along with a special guest to talk about whatever happens to cross our minds over a few adult beverages. And while I could do this alone, it would be very awkward and sad probably, but I am not going to. Instead, I'm going to bring in a few friends, starting with the host of the aforementioned Electric Liberty Land, which you can hear every single Wednesday on Lions of Liberty. He lives just down the street here in Los Angeles, California, and his name is Brian McWilliams.
What's happening, man?
Nothing, just recording a podcast and drinking a bit. What about you?
That's good. Just same. Coincidentally, I'm doing the same. I'm glad that this worked out. This is the most random thing ever. I got a random call. I pick up the phone. I'm on a podcast. I'm drinking a beer, and boom, we got a show.
Fantastic. And Brian, you work for a smaller company, but I actually work for a larger corporation right now. I don't know if you have this. We have goals every year. We have to make up goals and then achieve them or something, whatever. And so one of my podcast goals, though, is to remember to ask everybody what they're drinking, because I often forget one or forget everybody or forget myself. I'm not going to do that today. My goal is to remember to ask all four of you. So what are you drinking right over there down the street in Culver City?
Well, I'm proud to tell you that I'm drinking America's oldest brewery, Yuengling, and their traditional lager, which is fantastic. A good buddy of ours, Boomer, smuggled me up a case in his rectum, and I am enjoying every last drop of this beer.
In his rectum. That is very impressive.
It's the only way to do it, man. He's got a giant square rectum.
It's okay, but I generally think Yuengling tastes like piss. But
others delicious. You know what? If you had one now, you would regret all of the years of missed Yuenglings that you could have been drinking in college.
I've got, and because to meet my goals, I'm just going to say it now. I've got a couple drinks here. I've got some Bullet Bourbon, a fresh bottle, literally just opened it, and I've also got some Red's Wicked Apple Cider that I just picked up. It seems fine. Tastes like apple juice, but it's really just to wash this down. Why don't we bring in somebody else? Why don't we bring in the host of Felony Friday? He is constantly exposing. Not himself, no. The broken criminal justice system. He lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he is John Odermatt. What's up, Odie?
Yeah, I have not been arrested for exposing myself. That didn't happen.
No, he said arrested
Tried,
for.
but not convicted.
I have not been caught yet, but that is irrelevant.
But anyway, two things based on what you guys were just talking about. First of all, on goals, you don't need goals. You need a system. As Scott Adams would say, you need a system in place.
My company doesn't share that philosophy, so that's nice. Maybe that should be my goal, to change goals to systems.
See, the reason I've stayed with a small company is so I don't have to do any of that bullshit.
I know. I mean, you might
literally
be on the right
I'm just like, they just leave me alone, and I love it.
That's why I didn't work for any company, and then I just sold out. So, these things happen. You got to do what you got to do to survive. lastly,
the second thing, and maybe more important than the first, is Brian, is your Yingling in a can or a bottle?
Oh, it's in a can.
That's perfect. That's good. Bottles of Yingling are terrible because they're green bottles. Sunlight gets in and ruins the beer.
Right? Can is the only way to go. I got it in a can. I got a koozie around it. It's fantastic.
Perfect.
Hey, what are you drinking, Odie?
I'm drinking a Bell's Two Hearted. That's my
does
primary.
Does it still count as my goal if you ask it? I don't know the rules here.
Already ruined for the year.
That's what I'm drinking right now. Then I got a backup beer, which I'm going to get to pretty shortly. Got an all-day IPA. So I'm ready to roll.
I just tried that Bell's Two Hearted by accident. I didn't realize what it was. And as soon as I drank it and I put that disgusting asparagus urine flavor in my mouth, I said, this is another dog shit IPA. And I gave it away.
Oh, it's delicious. I love it. I love dog shit.
All right, folks. Well, I gathered a guest here, a special guest at the last minute, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm actually not even sure if you guys are aware of what I've got planned here. I'm extremely excited to welcome this guy. He has been blowing up on YouTube, especially in the run-up to the 2016 election. He's got some hard-hitting commentary about social justice warriors. He is the editor-in-chief right now of Infowars.com. I am so excited to welcome Mr. Paul Joseph Watson. Mr. Paul Joseph Watson, welcome to Lions of Liberty.
Hello there, Mark. Social justice warriors are scum. They're vile. I will be on any podcast that has me to talk about this crucial situation. But most importantly, we must address the problem with Western civilization and its demise.
And what exactly is the problem with Western civilization, Mr. Watson?
I don't know. I'm angry all the time. Alex Jones does not give me enough back rubs.
I have one question. Are you standing in front of a map right now, by chance?
I have all kinds of maps. I have all kinds of globes. I have all kinds of Western civilization symbolism in my background.
Wow, this is making me not want to change course at all. What, Mr. Watson, are you drinking along with us today?
Of course I drink. I drink the finest Maker's Mark.
Well, kids, in case you didn't figure it out yet, this is not the real Paul Joseph Watson. It's actually an upgrade from Paul Joseph Watson. He is someone you may know as the former co-host of Part of the Problem with Dave Smith and the current co-host of the Mikeadelic podcast, and he does a pretty damn good PJW impression. Mike Brancatelli, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
That was
Glad
pretty
to be
goddamn good, man.
That was awesome.
I felt a little rusty. It's hard to call that. I don't know, that Scottish brood that he has. On call, but I try my best. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here, guys.
Excellent pauses as well there. Good cadence.
The pauses are key because something like I think the more pauses you take when saying something, the more weight they hold.
Yes, that's correct. He kind of talks a little bit like this. Yeah,
he's like the calculon of politics.
He's so intense. I actually probably agree with like 70% of what he says. I just think his presentation is hilarious. I don't know. He's a very intense guy. Like I'd like to see him like at a carnival, like having an ice cream or like holding some balloons,
Would anybody here like to try some of this pecan brittle?
That was like an angry Sean Connery.
That was great. That was better than mine. That was fantastic.
I do a good Sean Connery. I don't do a good.
Okay, that was closer to Sean Connery.
For her whole shit about the refugees. He's like, put them up in your mansion of 400 rooms, and calling out these people. That was pretty funny.
J.K. Rowling is a vile piece of shit.
And we've got a cold open. Check. Does she really have 400 rooms? That is
maybe not that many, but she's got like 4 mansions.
I want to think capitalism is so awesome that you can write some children's books and have a 400-room mansion. That's what I want to think.
It
and
is.
Still tout socialist bullshit on Twitter. I assume she does. I really don't know that much about J.K. Rowling's views, to be honest. I'm just playing along here.
What's amazing is that whole concept for the magical castle came out of a nickname she gave the HPV on her husband's dick.
Whoa.
They never talk about it.
That went both under and over my head.
Are you trying jokes out again on the podcast, Brian?
We talked about this.
These are off the top of the head, baby.
Don't worry, I got it, Brian. I stand with you, Electric Boy and Felony Man and Lord of Liberty. We are We are here to start the revolution.
These are our
Libertarians unite.
Our super villain
irrelevance.
These can be our super villain nicknames. Electric Boy, come along. Be right there, Lord of Liberty.
I can't believe what Jamie Foxx was at being Electric Boy.
Oh yeah, terrible. Spider-Man, right?
The Electro. Yeah, that was not good.
No.
He was a lot better on In Color.
The new one was pretty good.
I didn't see it yet.
Oh, you didn't see that yet?
I don't see anything, man. I'm lazy. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen shit. I'm bad about getting in the movies.
Well, Odie hasn't seen a movie in 17 years, so. Odie, what's the last movie you saw? Literally, I am curious.
Last movie I saw, God, like in a theater?
In general,
I'll accept any answer right now.
Yeah, any movie we bring up, you've never seen it.
I saw one pretty recently. I can't remember what the heck it was.
Was it Memento? Because that would be ironic.
The one movie you saw would leave an impression.
I would say, my wife and I, we start a lot of movies, then we get like 5 minutes in. This sucks. We just turn it off and just, I don't know, watch Suits or something.
Sometimes you got to give it a little build.
Maybe you guys suck. You thought about that? No attention.
There is another option here.
It's possible.
You know, they say some people aren't made for the movies, but maybe the movies just aren't made for some people.
I
have no idea what that means. Did I ask you what you're drinking, Mike?
Oh, I am drinking in honor of
I got to get a 3%
Rand
raise
Paul.
at Lions of Liberty this year.
Yeah, you're gonna get it. You're doing your job. I'm drinking Maker's Mark, good old bourbon from Kentucky.
I asked Paul. Nice. That's what it was. You and PJW there are both drinking out of the same bottle. 2 straws.
Yeah, that's right. Sharing is caring.
Yeah, that wasn't an impression, guys. They're actually roommates. Paul Joseph Watson and Mike Brancatelli. He said he'd come on for the first 5 minutes, but that's all the time he could give us.
You're late on this month's rent.
Flipping coins for the top bunk. By the way, maybe that would be a good segue.
You left the filthy dishes out again.
That might be a segue into the first interesting discussion topic. Because, so you saw that article that on our little email chain. So Howie shared, this guy Howie Snowden, I don't know if you know him or not, Mike, but he shared this article about Rand Paul. It was written in a guy who
takes acid and listens to Lions of Liberty all day. Come on. He knows.
Yeah, that's
who
true.
does?
Yes.
He might not know his name, but he'll know that voice.
Yeah, I know
6 hours Snowden. In.
Yeah.
Hey guys, take out of here. Like that. Dead on impression.
That is not a dead on impression, but
he shared an article basically from this editor of Red Alert Politics, and he's saying Rand Paul's steadfast, absolute rejection of the new Graham Cassidy healthcare bill marks why libertarians are irrelevant. And I was just saying, on Electric Liberty Land, I was saying that I actually think the bill could do some good if it's that or nothing, which I think that's what it's going to be. So, what do you think? What's the haps, guys? What's your take on this bill?
I hate all bills, except dollar bills.
Cosby.
We shouldn't get into Cosby right now because I don't know. People get weird when you talk about rapists.
If only we had Obamacare,
I don't know what
it is. I wouldn't have this milky eye.
People get all crazy when you talk about rapists. I have no idea why. That's really why.
Yeah. Well, no, I got to be honest. I haven't really been paying too much attention to that. Number one, I don't have health care, and I don't really. I haven't been really focusing on it too much. But I think
health care. How are you alive without health insurance?
Why aren't you dead?
I know, right? I'm young. I take pretty good care of myself. So, I have routine doctor visits. They always tell me that I'm good, in shape. So, good to go. Drink a green juice every day. There you go. That's it.
How are you not in jail? Or were you legally required to buy Obamacare as of before Trump was in office? Otherwise, do you get a fine and put in prison if you don't pay it?
I probably shouldn't have said that on a podcast.
That's part of the problem with Obamacare. The fine is a lot less than actually getting insurance.
We know you're in there. So. Buy your health care. You're going straight to jail. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I've never worked in law enforcement, so I don't know, really, how you arrest people for that.
Well, but I haven't been paying attention to Rand's healthcare thing, but I was paying attention to him, opposing this defense budget, which I thought was pretty cool. Rand Paul makes a much better senator than he does running for president. I just got to say. So, I'm with him with that. He didn't really succeed,
with Rand Paul. He's like it's a good thing about him too when he is a senator. I agree. Is standing up listening to his audio of standing up against endless wars and sunsetting the provisions that allow these wars to just continue funded forever. Like that almost sounds like Ron Paul just standing up there and railing against it. I mean, that's the Rand Paul everyone wanted to have running for president, that everyone wanted to have 24/7. But it seems like he was largely that. He said a lot of things that here and there we might disagree with, but he seemed at least Ron Paul-ish in the beginning. It was only when he started to ramp up for a presidential campaign that I think he seemed to get a lot of, advisors that quote unquote knew what they were doing that said, well, maybe you should just tweak this thing here for the evangelicals. Maybe you should back off this thing. Maybe you should say something nice about Israel. Next thing you know, he basically sounds like the rest of the candidates. And, it's not the same guy that once that leash is off, once the consultants are gone or whatever, he's more back to this guy that we see actually standing up for something.
Yeah, he definitely started sucking a lot of Israel dick when he was running for president. That's for damn sure. And he also
I guess I'll mark this explicit.
Reform.
Yeah, I think so.
Justice reform was his big thing. He's touring around, going to black colleges. Then he didn't mention it once during any of the presidential debates. It's like, Rand, this is your big in with anybody that's independent, man. And he just totally dropped it, completely left it off the roster of things or the docket of things to discuss.
Why do we always come back to
once Trump made fun of his hair, it was all over.
It was literally all over. Rand's like, this guy didn't sign the pledge. This guy didn't say.
Oh, I know.
And then Rand's like,
and
then Trump's like, Rand, your hair's stupid. Goodbye. And then that was it. Yeah. It was just like,
you hear this guy down here? You hear this guy? Look at him. Look at him.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
He's all the way down there.
Out of all things to interject and try and make your presence known in the debates, he chooses that, toe the party line. That was
yeah, right.
Terrible. Horrible.
And what kind of projection of what that political process was going to play out is that? Because clearly we saw, Bernie got a lot of traction and Trump got enough traction to become president. And I think a large part of both of their appeal was to the degree it's real or not is irrelevant, their appeal to their independence from the establishment, their independence from the system. Trump basically ran a campaign on not being owned. And you can say he's kind of established it now, and I would say you're right. But that has nothing to do with reality. As we know, when it comes to elections, people vote on their feelings, and they both put out the feeling of, we are independent, we are fighting the man, we are not what you've seen before. But Rand seemed to start off with, no, we got to be cookie cutter Republicans, and we got to get in line with whoever becomes the guy. And, it was just a totally wrong strategy to pick up any kind of traction.
Well, here's a question for you, right? If Rand had embraced the hair on his head, if Rand had dyed his body a dark tan color like in the movie Soul Man, how far would he have gotten in the presidential race? He could have been a halfway Trump, halfway Ben Carson up there.
Yeah, he'd be president by now, yeah.
He would definitely be president. Until
that's another movie I haven't seen. So,
well, you got to watch that, man.
This is why we should be political consultants and quit the podcast.
Google that right now.
Rand,
clearly,
I filled a bathtub
with
with dye, and you got to get in.
But he definitely, during that race, it was just it's so stupid to have all those advisors and everybody chirping in your ear to play it this way, play it that way, try and get the GOP base. I mean, he should have just took it as an opportunity like his father did to communicate the message. That was really, you might not win, but you're going to get the message out there. You're going to convert people. That's what I would have liked to see, but
because at least you're telling the truth. Like Ron, even though everybody knew he wasn't going to win, but at least he was telling the truth, and you are converting people to the way of thinking that's important.
Yeah. He spoke with passion, and he communicated a feeling that really, I think touched everybody when he was running.
Touched everybody. That sounded weird. But I think what hurt Rand, it's kind of weird to say it this way, but he had too much success early. Way out ahead of way before Trump was even in the race, he was polling at number one. He was the favorite. So I think that made the people around him at least kind of insulate him and say, well, Rand, you can't say that. You can't say this. That'll, you're the front runner. You got to act like a front runner. And I think it kind of constrained him, and he was afraid to say things like his dad would say. He wouldn't go out and say, end the Fed, because he was kind of locked in as the front runner as a mainstream candidate.
How much less inspiring than end the Fed is audit the Fed, read their books, hire an accounting firm.
Count the money. Count the money.
It just doesn't get you off your butt to go
doesn't have
the
the same ring to it. Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Well, coming full circle, though, to what you're saying before, though, it was nice to see him up there fighting against those, like trying to get the AUMF to end. And by the way, I just love how fucking cowardly are all these douchebags in the Senate. You got Donald Trump, who everybody hates on both sides of the aisle. They both say that they hate Donald Trump. And then the one chance, you got this chance to rein in his war powers, and they're all like, nah, that's fine.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know.
And it's fucking time to do it. Now is the time. If you're not going to do it for this guy, who are you ever going to do it for?
Right, exactly. I mean, this is the only issue that we get bipartisan agreement on. You know, it's like, oh, of course. And then all the Democrats that have voted for this, and it falls on deaf ears on the left. You know, they don't even seem to care. They're just like, all right, whatever. I don't know. This is how it's always been, I guess.
Like if they were really the anti-war party, wouldn't they have been like made a big deal out about this? They'd be like, hey, we got to put this in. We got to get this back in our pocket. Nah, nothing.
Well, I think most of the left actually voted for Rand's bill, or for the amendment. I think it was the entire.
It was 61 to 36. So
yeah, it was less than the amount they have.
Actually, no, 61 to 31 was the final vote.
Yeah. So
what is definitely? Yeah, I don't even know what the split is right now in the Senate.
It's like 50, 51, or 52 to 48 or something.
It's really close. Yeah, it's 52 to 48, I think.
So I guess that's most. I guess you could say.
Yeah, but still, I mean.
All those scumbags on the left who go around saying, well, Trump, he's got his finger on the nuclear button. He's going to kill us all. And then, they won't take it away. So, fuck them.
And also, no one was talking about it except Rand. You know, like, where are these Democrats that are out there stumping to get these war powers reined in? They'll talk about all this other bullshit. You got fucking Maxine Waters stumping to get Trump impeached at a guy's goddamn funeral earlier this week, but she can't stand up and say, hey, we should rein in his war powers a little bit.
Oh, that funeral thing was unbelievable.
Yeah, Dick Gregory's funeral.
Do you guys know about that?
Oh, no, yeah. I don't know about it. What happened?
I happened to hear it on a different podcast I won't name. Just kidding. No, it was Jason Stapleton.
Yeah,
he played a clip from
a
it.
lot of it. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
It was unreal.
Well, she's ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh, she's insane. Jason. She was screaming so hard I thought her wig was going to fall off.
It's a funeral for this comedian, and the comedian, I'm sure he would agree with every word she said, but it's like supposed to be this somber funeral, and she's given this speech about how they're going to storm the White House and end white supremacy and destroy Donald Trump, and it's just like, okay, anything to say about this guy? Like,
yeah, it was like a call response. She's like, impeach! I will get up there and I will impeach 48, and I will get this. He's a liar. He's a cheat. He's a blah blah. And everybody's like, amen. It was like fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. What about this dead guy here? You care about him? No, we care about
Donald Trump killed him.
They're gonna go on a march in the streets and have Dick Gregory's body like on a puppet sticks, like at a Mardi Gras in New Orleans, where they have those guys march through the streets.
You are so offensive.
Did I lose everybody there?
I was digging it.
You are on fire.
Look it up. I am. I'm already 2 beers in, and we're in 25 minutes in the podcast.
I'm more than that in, but I got to pick it up. I got to pick up the whiskey drinking. That's what it is.
Yeah,
you do get funnier the more I drink.
You've been drinking since noon. You were telling me you were drinking earlier when I messaged you. You're like, well, you got to start sometime.
Mike, I just started drinking.
He's like, I'm a full-time employee now. I start drinking at noon.
That's my day off. I mean, shit. They're a lot more rare now. I got to use them wisely by drinking and podcasting.
Yeah,
it's called living the dream.
Meanwhile, I heard Odie, you were sitting next to a guy that got fired. I heard you tipped off your boss, told him you was using drugs.
That is not true at all. Yeah, I'd rather not talk about my job, but yes, people do get fired in corporate America from time to time. It does happen.
It does happen. Yes, it does. That's why we're all building this Liberty cash cow in the background. So when shit hits the fan, boom. Watch out!
Right, exactly. That's why we're raking in the money, right? You guys are rich now, right?
The $400,000 pride level is where we all quit our
tens of dollars are lining my pockets. So hold on, unless Marc has something else or somebody else has another topic, I have
nothing in my mind at all. I thought you guys knew that
because I got to talk about this.
You love your Graham Cassidy. You don't want to make us talk about that more.
No.
We're all like boring onto war and other stuff.
Nobody knows enough about it. I'm not going to bother. I yelled about it for
listened to your show about it. I mean,
10 minutes.
I might come to a different conclusion, but
you can. Well, I understand, and I
get both sides of it, though. You laid out both sides pretty well, I think.
Yeah. But here's the thing: I got to talk about this.
And then became a statist. It's no big deal.
Hey, you know what? A good statist, though, as we have said.
No such thing.
Roger Paxton wants to choke you right now.
He's
No
a big
such thing
guy.
as a good sadist. Every time I try to do Roger's an impression of him, it turns into Alex.
You know what?
shitty
Roger
Alex
Paxton's a big guy, but I think I could slip out and probably take him like with an elbow in the back of the head.
Well, next year, we're all going to go to Pork Fest, which Roger's running, and he invited us to, and you're going to wrestle him.
Oil wrestling, Roger, you and me.
I presume the oil, yeah, of course.
Two bald men,
you
oiled
guys
up.
are all going? You guys are all going to that?
We're discussing it.
I think we
sure,
promised
why not?
Roger we would.
We've been
So I
formally
think-
invited.
yeah.
There's talks of doing some
Nice.
live podcasts.
Yeah, I
you
think we're
should
gonna
come
do it.
along. Let's bring all the cool Liberty kids.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. It's in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the summer with mosquitoes. That's the part I don't like, but whatever.
You know what?
So
They never bite me. I think because I don't have blood like a
All
human.
right, you'll stand in front of us. Take the brunt.
Get behind me.
Well, it'll be like when on The Walking Dead they like wipe zombie blood on them. We'll just like wipe your sweat on us, and hopefully that'll protect us.
Perfect. And semen.
Well, I mean, I guess we could talk about that off air or in the bonus bonus segment. That's why you
bonus
got to
Pride
join the
members.
Lions Liberty Pride, folks, because you find out if you think this is weird. Just you wait.
Just you wait till the after dark periscoping. All right, so
think
here's
of a
what
new topic. I'm going to drink whiskey.
Here's what I want to bring up: is this hilarious article that just came out in the Washington Post about Kim Jong Un's response to Trump's sanctions on North Korea, and Kim Jong Un, he goes, "I will tame the mentally deranged U.S. dotard with fire."
What's a
And
dotard?
I gotta say, you know what? Say what you will about Kim Jong Un's ability to rule, but gotta go away with words.
These two are made for each other.
Yeah, he called him a dotard. What the hell is that?
A dotard? I think it's like a dullard.
It sounds
Dullard.
It's like dullard plus retard. I think it's
Yeah, right. It's like I think like a mentally. I think it even might have been. Yeah, an
PC
old
police.
person-
I'm not saying retard. I'm just saying Kim Jong Un might have been. That's all.
An old person who is weak or senile. So he's a mentally deranged old person who's weak or senile, and he's going to tame him with fire.
Oh, that's a good insult.
Just
That's not bad.
fire. Okay.
Yeah,
Just the
not
fire.
nuclear
Not-
weapons, I guess.
Not the Fury. He's not. He's not
he's
doing the
just
fire
gonna
and the
light a
Fury.
match. Yeah.
Fire.
He's
What
like
about that?
an angry like teenage pyro.
On the subject of Rand Paul's anti-war talk, which we love, what did you guys think of? Did anybody see Donald Trump's? I guess you might say pro-war. I don't even know if it was pro-war. You could argue that it wasn't necessarily, but it was at least threatening, saber rattling, as U.S. presidents often do in other countries. Over not only North Korea, but also Iran. I didn't see it, but I saw some snippets. What's funny is, like, the people I hear criticizing the speech don't criticize it for the same reasons I would. Like, I'm upset that he's, might bomb countries, and they're upset that he said Rocket Man. Like, it's at the UN of all places to say Rocket Man
People
to a
are
world
upset
leader.
because he said Rocket Man. Really?
Well, they think it's making a joke of things, but it's
It
also
is.
favorite-
It's
and
great.
My
it
favorite
is, and that's
song.
what
Terrific song, Elton John, Rocket Man, unbelievable song, terrific song.
he wrote it.
I
from a
love it to
rocket.
follow it up in next press conference. He goes, Jong Jong and the Jets.
Nothing would surprise me at this point. Once he tweeted that wrestling meme, I was like, he does not give two shits, does he?
Oh, did you see? He also retweeted a GIF of
The golf
of himself
ball
or a GIF of him hitting a golf ball, and then it cutting to another shot of Hillary Clinton tripping down the stairs, and somebody edited in a golf ball hitting her in the back of the head.
That was amazing.
I love those things.
funny.
I just absolutely love all. Like, I wish I had the skills to do all that stuff. I'm always so amazed whenever something goes down, and then right away on Twitter, there's like these animated
seconds.
photoshopped gifs. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, that's really the culture that we're living in right now. I mean, the meme wars, the gif wars, whatever. They're winning people over.
Any meme you can think of, if you think of it and try to look for it, 4chan already did it. Like, people have already done it. You couldn't even do it. You couldn't be fast enough. I couldn't be fast enough. Obviously, some people are, but my brain
I
doesn't
tried to
work like
get
that.
I tried to get in on it, and my skills were very mediocre.
I think the 4chan might have done more for this country than any organization that has existed yet.
I mean, the Shia LaBeouf thing alone. That's the
brilliant,
gift that keeps on
brilliant.
giving.
Yeah.
It's just like there's something to be said for just ultimate trolling, and it's like and not giving like they are the ultimate nihilists. They don't give a shit about anything. Everything's on the table. There's no PC. There's no anything. They're just like we're going to go after it and make fun of it, and there's no rules, just right, like Outback Steakhouse.
That just reminded me. I think the last movie that we watched was with Shia LaBeouf. It was that movie when he was like a traveling magazine salesman. Have you guys seen that?
Why the fuck would you watch that movie? You're going to watch one movie in the last 10 years. Why is it
7 years? Let's pull up a Shia LaBeouf flick.
It was
God.
awful.
I thought you were going to say it was the new Indiana Jones movie that was awful. That the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls.
Yeah.
Oh, with
Jesus
the aliens?
Christ.
Come on.
Yeah, aliens.
You guys weren't high enough. If you look at it as a
Spielberg.
comedy, it's sweet. Come on.
That's the only way it can be seen.
I hate old Indiana Jones. That's like, I hate when they bring back these guys, and they make these old sequels, like years later. I like the young Indiana Jones going out doing stuff, rescuing his father, Sean Connery, punching Nazis, real Nazis, by the way.
That's the way you
don't
can
like
punch a
old
Nazi.
Han Solo?
You know what? All these Antifa, we should just have a program where when you sign up for Antifa, you give us your address, we mail you a DVD of Indiana Jones, you watch some Nazi punching, and you chill the fuck out.
That's it. They gotta learn history. Watch Indiana Jones.
That's how you
That's
punch
real,
Nazis.
right? Yeah.
It's all real. I would want to see. I'm amped to see old Harrison Ford in the new Blade Runner, though. I'm pumped
yeah. I hope that's good.
I believe in the power of Gosling Ford.
I'm looking forward to the sequel where old Harrison Ford crashes his airplane in the golf course like 2 miles from my house. Oh, wait. That one already came out. Looking for another one. Seriously, he's crashed like 2 airplanes.
I know.
Maybe
He's
it's
awesome
time to
at it.
take a break, Harry.
Yeah.
I can call him Harry, right?
Maybe you're not cut out for that.
All right. What else? Harrison Ford flying.
And
where can we pivot from there? I know where we can pivot. We can pivot to a quick word from today's sponsors. How about that?
I'm going to go get another beer.
Hey guys, this is Roger Paxton, and if you're fed up with the government running every single aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, then what's wrong with you? Check us out at thelavaflow.com, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every single episode.
This is Chris Spangle, and I am the host of We Are Libertarians, which you can find in iTunes, Google Play, or at wearelibertarians.com. We are a podcast that brings you all of the irreverence that modern politics deserves by examining current events from a libertarian perspective. So please, check us out at wearelibertarians.com.
Hey everyone, the Johnny Rocket Launchpad is Liberty. Each week we strive to bring you the best guests in talk radio. The Johnny Rocket Launchpad delivers weekly interviews of noteworthy politicians, experts, and activists. The Johnny Rocket Launchpad is bringing the party to the Libertarian Party and launching ideas in your direction. Check us out at johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com, and you can hear me, Kurt Nelson, and the beautiful Heather Nixon talk about the ideas of liberty, rock and roll.
That's right. You need to listen to all those fantastic podcasts. We call these shows the League of Liberty. It's the Lava Flow. We got the Johnny Rocket Launchpad. We are Libertarians. We have all teamed up to form a group of just kick-ass podcasts. And this is the first time I'm announcing this anywhere, I believe. This Wednesday, for Lions of Liberty Pride members, this coming Wednesday, we have a very special, brand new podcast called The League of Liberty, featuring myself, Johnny Adams, Chris Spangle of We Are Libertarians, Roger Paxton of The Lava Flow. We just recorded it the other day. That will be released this coming Wednesday to not only members of the Lions of Liberty Pride, but to supporters of Roger Paxton and Lava Flow on Patreon, to supporters of the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, members of their Backstage Pass, and to We Are Libertarians Patreon supporters. So if you subscribe to any of our shows, and you should really at least be subscribing to ours before you subscribe to anybody else's, but if you subscribe to any of them, you're going to get that show this coming Wednesday. So look forward to that, my friends. And speaking of Patreon, Mike, why don't you just tell us what you got going now? You decided to leave part of the problem and go to focus on your own project with Mikeadelic. Why don't you, before we get too drunk and totally forget about it, tell us what you've been doing these last few months here.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. And I just got to say, that's awesome. You guys are doing that. Like libertarians supporting each other, lifting each other up. It's so much better than the stupid infighting that happens, So that's so cool. You guys have a good crew, good group of people, podcasters, writers. That's just really awesome to see that. So that's what this movement needs. If anything, it's, all of us helping each other out and stuff. So anything I could do to help you guys, of course. And Marc, you are the man. Absolutely. Putting your money where your mouth is. You recently just donated to my Patreon. I got to say, that's just it warms my little cold libertarian heart to see
that's from all of us.
that happen. Yeah, from all you guys. So
In
thanks,
truth,
Brian.
I'm just funneling Pride money. I'm just funneling a little Pride money to Mike Brank. So thanks, Pride members for paying for that. Just kidding. No.
It's totally awesome. So yeah, I
the
got
funds
this
are
podcast,
separated. The funds are separated.
I got this podcast, Mikeadelic, and it focuses on the healing power of psychedelics, but also more importantly on cognitive liberty, and of course liberty as a whole, which I feel is very important. So I'm having fun doing the show. I recently just did an episode with Thaddeus Russell that was really good. Such a pleasure to talk to that guy. And if you want to check it out, go find it. It's everywhere. It's on iTunes everywhere, and you can even support me on Patreon if you'd like as well.
You have a pretty broad range of guests too. That's what I like, because it's like you'll have somebody like Thaddeus who's very he's very philosophical and very smart and can talk on like any political subject or historical subject and philosophical subject. And then you have like Gordon White, who is like, we'll talk about magic and other dimensions and like cool shit like that. But it all really does tie into, I think, the overall philosophy you're trying to convey, and that is really freeing your mind, whether it's thinking about things in a radically different way or ingesting substances that help you with that.
Yeah, and the ingesting substances part is like in my intro or bio or whatever I say, it's like with a psychedelic point of view. A lot of these psychedelic shows and drug related shows, they talk about kind of like using substances and all that stuff. Mine's more about kind of empowering individuals to have direct experiences, whatever those may be. Kind of just having the freedom to do that. So that's kind of more of what I'm about, and that's why I say I emphasize cognitive liberty. So there you go, folks.
Right, it's not just Mike taking acid for 8 hours every week.
No.
Although I would probably listen to that too. To be honest.
Actually, I did. I recently did do. I recently did do a podcast where I recorded myself on mushrooms and just kind of whatever was coming out of my mouth, and I decided to put it on there. It probably sounds completely insane, but I put it out there, and I got some good feedback from it. So whatever.
That's the next step, I think, of this show. When we start introducing the psychedelics.
Gotta be.
Yeah. Well, they're not for everybody, but everybody should have the freedom to choose if they.
We should what we should do. We should watch Troll 2 and record the Troll 2 watching on mushrooms.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, we owe Justin Zielinski, Pride member. As far as I know, the only one who really wants us to do it, but
people
I
will
want
love
us
it.
to do it. I want us to do it. And
Everybody loved the first one.
Other people will want us to do it more than they ever realize when they see this fucking. Mike, have you seen Troll 2, by the way?
I have not.
Dude, if there is one thing you do, I don't care what state you're in, you should probably drink or at least smoke some weed or something, but it is just I don't even know how to describe it. It's the best B movie ever. It's actually known as like one of the best B movies ever, and it's not even a sequel to the movie Troll, which is actually like a kind of decent but still kind of shitty B movie. And then that was popular enough for this other movie that wasn't called Troll at all to just decide we're just going to call ourselves Troll 2, and then we're going to put out this shitty movie.
Oh my God! I just googled it. It looks horrifying. It just looks like a bunch of. So good. The cover is like a bunch of John McCain's on it.
You might want to watch it. You might want to watch it
John
tonight.
McCain's covered in green ooze and burlap sacks.
Yeah,
I think that's. I think that.
John McCain's hometown is Nilbog. You only get that joke if you've seen Troll 2.
And I won't spoil what it means.
No, don't.
Does Troll 1 at least have these similar creatures in it? These
absolutely
trolls?
not. Nope.
Not at all. I think it has
They're
more
not
Davis
related
in it.
movies. They're literally unrelated movies. But the people that made this other movie decided to, after Troll came out, like, hey, let's just change the title to Troll 2. Let's just do that. Because Troll was such a big hit.
Yeah, it's like if you made a movie called Top Gun 2, but it was about driving around in boats in a lake. That's it. And it has no relation.
And it starred Corey Feldman. Oh man, this is good stuff. What else can we talk about?
I love those B movies though. I mean,
they're the best.
Those are great. I haven't got into too many of them.
I mean,
but
the best
few
B movies are when they know they're B movies and accept it.
Yes,
or
yeah.
Sometimes there is the other extreme of they so much don't know that it's just as good. But
well, hold on, have any of you seen? I know Odie hasn't. Have any of you seen The Wraith with Charlie Sheen?
No.
Was that a movie? That was just
it's a movie, and it is
movie.
Fan-fucking-tastic. It's got Charlie Sheen in it as I can't even give it away. All I could say is young Charlie Sheen before he made it big, because he's clearly in this movie, so he's not made it big yet. And there's a car that's also a ghost that also kills people.
A lot of spoilers right there.
And the car's the hero.
That's a major spoiler.
I have to see
wouldn't
that
have expected
now. That sounds incredible.
It
while
was
we're on the top,
Netflix.
if we're on the topic of movies, I just want to give a quick shout out to this podcast that I was on recently. It's a libertarian podcast called Actual Anarchy. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those guys.
Yeah, they discuss movies from a libertarian perspective. So it's pretty cool.
Cool. I get good shout out to Actual Anarchy. They tweet at me sometimes. Hi, Actual Anarchy.
I believe our Pride member. I believe it's our Pride member Jake Chaval Lundstrom. That's a big fan of those guys. He was hooking us up. So yeah, we'll have to do a combo with them at some point. Just get really drunk and watch movies, which we would do anyway.
Yeah,
which I do anyway,
and
all the time.
Analyze them from a libertarian perspective.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we didn't really do too much of when we watched They Live. We watched it and we made fun of it, and then we didn't really dive too far into it. Have you seen They Live?
I yelled out random
one of my
libertarian
favorites.
themes.
There we go.
My favorites.
Troll 2 has no libertarian themes in it.
Well, I don't know.
other than actually, you know what?
Don't spoil anything. Mike hasn't seen it yet. Keep it in
Troll
mind.
2 has the most libertarian theme in that there's actually no intellectual property laws apparently.
Nice.
That's
I thought
what
you
maybe
were gonna say like there's a bunch of trolls. They're trying to kill people, and one guy's just like, "End the Fed." Like, whoa, where'd that come from?
It's one line.
Yeah. Troll number 34, played by Ron Paul.
If I ever get a movie made, there will be one guy in it, just one scene yelling "End the Fed" for no reason.
Yeah,
okay, here you go. Ready? Topic.
Yeah.
Asteroids. Should we give a fuck?
I mean, we should not want to die from them.
Well, I think are you assuming the Earth is round then?
Yeah, that's a
Assuming
big leap you're
Are you
taking right
assuming
now,
a
pal.
globe?
I'm presuming a globe. Yes.
If we got a globe, we got problems.
In a libertarian society, who blows up the asteroids? And go.
I'll do it. No, Rocket Man. Yeah.
He seems the obvious choice.
We're going to send the courageous Rocket Man.
I'd like to thank North Korea for blowing up the asteroid. They are our greatest allies.
We've all seen. Well, we can still keep on the topic of movies with this. We've all seen. What's the movie?
Armageddon.
Armageddon. Yeah.
That's one of them, and there's the other one with. They two came out at the same time. What's the other one?
Right, Deep Impact. Which
Deep
I
Impact.
don't think
There we go.
Deep Impact wasn't that good, but Armageddon was good. I mean, here you go. The government has to hire a private firm of drillers, and they send them off into space, and hijinks ensue. Right? Isn't that pretty much it?
That is pretty much it.
Hijinks do ensue.
It was enjoyable, except that you had to look at what's her face, Steven Tyler's daughter, and her wonky eye. God damn.
Yeah, I love Tyler. Yeah,
throws me off, man. Throws me off.
She has a wonky eye. I never noticed.
She's got
that.
wonky eyes. Like there's something. It's something off with her eyeballs all the time. It's like they're not lined up right.
She's got wonky
flounder.
eyes.
Yeah, that would be a good song.
It would be.
But
Sung
yeah,
to the
that's
tune
true.
of Betty Davis eyes.
I guess the government might turn towards an Elon Musk and be like, Elon, you got to go fuck this asteroid up.
You know
buddy.
what Deep Impact had that Armageddon didn't, and that is Morgan Freeman as president. So.
We can't survive an asteroid attack with Trump in office.
Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman sucks.
Ooh. Are you just saying that to be controversial?
I love Shawshank Redemption.
No, because Morgan Freeman was recently he recently had this I don't know what it's called, but video or whatever of him talking about how we have to, fear Russia, that we have to take this Russian fear seriously, and all this stuff.
He's on that train?
Morgan Freeman's War with Russia video shouldn't be taken seriously, says the Kremlin.
Well, I gotta watch that now.
Oh,
but hold on,
should we get
I do want to
Morgan
get back
Freeman
to this
on?
asteroid thing, just because. Hold on, hear me out here. If we're going to send someone into space to blow up an asteroid, you got Elon Musk. He's already got permission to drill shit in Los Angeles. He's already got the rockets. He's already got the spacesuits, and he's got the money. Who better to defend us from asteroids?
Yeah, he's got the money from government subsidies. That's where he gets his money from.
Oh,
has he done anything with space travel? Like haven't his rockets blown up as soon as they've gone in the air? Pretty much.
Of course, they're hitting the dome on the flat Earth.
Exactly.
Where else are they going to go?
Neck and neck with North Korea. He's
But, I
already
mean,
fired
but
rockets
really?
closer to Guam.
We'd be pretty, we're capable of taking out an asteroid, right? Like if it was seriously coming at us, we have
I
the
don't
military
think so.
might.
I don't think
we have
are.
we have a $800 billion defense budget. What do you think it's going towards? It's going towards asteroid defense, right?
$80 billion richer now. They just approved another 80.
Another 80? Jesus Christ.
Yep.
It is funny how they'll send little fucking little trinkets into space to like shoot nice pretty pictures of planets and stuff, and then there's like, do we have like a gun that can shoot an asteroid? Should we work on that? I mean, I don't necessarily think. I mean, not necessarily. I don't think that the government should be the ones in the ideal society who are protecting us against space terror. But if they're going to be compensating my money and spending like whatever it is on space, maybe that should be like a top priority. That's all. I'm
just thinking the argument, of course, that if a private institution had built a laser that could blow up an asteroid from space, and they're like, oh, what? If this private guy is going to own this laser, what if he says he's not going to blow the asteroid up unless he can fuck all of our wives?
Just make that up.
Who owns that? Who owns that? Larry Flint? Like, what's the deal?
He's like, all right, I got the asteroid shooter. I'm going to shoot this asteroid. Now let me fuck all your wives.
But I got to fuck all your wives.
You've
first.
got,
well, it's like that old,
got
it's
one
like
week.
It's a stupid argument.
This thing's going to strike in 7 days.
Yeah, it's like, you want to use my private road? I got to fuck your wife. Like,
by the way, I'm in a wheelchair. They got to do all the work.
I guess it's not really that much of a threat. We never hear about any of these threats from space, and anytime we hear about something from space, nobody gives a shit. So
that makes you think it is a threat if they're not telling us about it.
It's funny that we talk about this today where we're recording this beforehand, obviously. The world's supposed to end on the 23rd. Have you heard about this?
We're going to feel like such idiots because that's the day before this fucking podcast airs.
There's some group is saying that there's a planet supposed to collide with Earth.
Should I release this the second we're done, just in case that we?
Yeah, put it out a day early.
I don't care about dying, but it would be a damn shame if we did this whole show and just no one ever heard it ever. Because
I wouldn't mind going out that way because at least everybody goes out. It's just like we're all done. That's it. Game over.
What would suck would be if it hits. It's like the kind that's like it just hits and it just makes a dark cloud over the earth and we like slowly die of starvation and cold over like months and years.
Well, I'm in New York, so it's always like New York that gets fucked up first,
Yeah,
like, I'm trying.
But you got the subways to hide in, like rats.
Oh my god, yeah. I would rather be dead than in that urine-soaked hellhole.
Okay, let's be honest with ourselves, though. Let's say an asteroid hits the Earth. All the things have gone totally to shit. NAP out the window or not?
Well, I mean, here's the question.
It's a tough one.
If Larry Flint builds the ray gun to shoot down the asteroid, but requires that he fucks your wife before he shoots it, is he violating the NAP?
It's a good question. I don't think so.
No, it's not. It's a terrible question.
I think he's fine. And you know what? I'd be fine with that as long as my wife gets to go first. I'd rather go first than last.
I guess.
It would be worse if your wife was into it. She's like, you know what? I have to do this for the planet.
Honey, I really think this is what I should do. He's like, he said he could only fuck the first 1,000, but she's like, no, I think I should be the first one. I think I should just go. I'm going to go now.
Put me on a monument.
I think this catastrophe thing is actually relevant because I think what do you guys, how do you gauge like people around you with like the North Korea kind of threat? Like I feel a lot of people I talk to are like really scared that like the world's going to end. And
I know a lot of people that are
I don't think so.
afraid.
Really? Oh, God. I can't
if I was
imagine
in California,
giving less of a
I would
shit.
at least be a little bit concerned. If I was,
Well,
I wouldn't be scared, but
Odie,
you might get like some residue floating over there.
I hate to
don't
break
know.
it to you, but on the round Earth, like New York isn't that much farther than California for the missile.
Yeah, it's pretty far away.
And the East Coast. No, it's really not. You just shoot it over the thing.
Look, I'm 0% afraid of getting hit by a fucking nuke. I've no doubt. I'm not. I mean, first off, the technology they've got
Try tweeting that to
anyway.
Kim Jong-un, and I'll be impressed.
That's right, Kim Jong. Come out.
Does he have a Twitter?
No, it's like, who gives a shit? They're not going to, number one, they're not going to launch a nuclear missile because they know that it would just wipe their fucking country off the map. Number two, it probably won't even get here. And number three, if they do launch it, whatever, man, it's going to hit. If I evaporate, what's
Whatever.
I'll just be gone. What do I give a shit? It's fine.
Yeah. I think that's highly unlikely. I think if I was Kim Jong Un, I would watch the movie Superman, and I would buy up all the property in California, Eastern California, and then just blow Western California out, and then you have waterfront property. Boom, right there. Lex Luthor. I can't believe no evil force in the world has thought of that yet.
Maybe they
Great
have.
plan.
They've been discreet about the sale. They're not like
That's
that's
publicizing
publicizing it. Hey guys,
see,
I just
that's
bought
why-
a lot of land in the middle of California. Don't worry about this rocket thing I'm working on. It's not unrelated at all.
I would
That's
be a bad,
that's actually really cheap land in Central and Eastern California.
That's why it's
Flatland.
brilliant.
go.
So, yeah.
Great plan. Yeah.
Shit, can I afford it? How cheap is it? Can the Lions Liberty Pride? But at the $1,000 pledge level, we buy land in Central California.
Yeah, and then we
Give you an
make a little
acre of
commune.
land for
Yeah, it's our
$1,000 a
commune.
month.
And then we'll build the Lions of Liberty Paradise on the coast. It's going to be great.
I like it.
It's where we'll record all our podcasts and have all our retreats. LP convention can be there. We'll invite
Yeah, sounds good. Ugh, LP convention.
Dave Smith and Gary Johnson to speak. I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
Gary Johnson.
Together. It'd be fun. Wouldn't you want to see those two debate?
I
Gary,
saw something
you just-
about that. He's fighting to get the debates. You know, like he's going before the Supreme
Did you
Court.
see that video he did when he's like in a dark room and he's like, I'm coming
closet?
back. Gary Johnson is on the way back because our system's corrupt and someone's got to stand up to it. And I'm like, well, he's like, but he's in like, he looks like he's being held hostage. He's in a, I'll post the video in the show notes. It's weird.
He is the strangest human being ever.
The four of us all agree on that. Think about that. Think about what that means, Gary.
I can't
It's just
believe there's still people defending him, saying, "Well, look at all the votes he got." Jesus Christ!
Well, the problem is he's going to be going to argue that like the presidential commission on debates it should be like he's going before the Supreme Court. I think I saw some email come out.
Is he going to argue?
I'm like,
Is he gonna
God
be-
damn it! I'm like, I don't want Gary Johnson going before the Supreme Court arguing anything.
He's like,
Guys-
Your Honor, what if I were to just stick out my tongue? And like, what?
You're gonna bring Bill Weld with him, just shaking his head in the background.
Ah,
Just
the
red
worst.
face,
He
just
looks-
shaking back and forth.
Bill Weld looks like the Mad Magazine kid, all grown up. That idiot.
Oh, totally. His ears sticking out the sides.
Yeah.
Got that red
Well,
nose. Too much booze.
I think what we're doing right now is just inefficient.
What, me
That was
worry
more of a Gary
about being
Johnson
libertarian?
Yeah. That was Gary. Yeah.
Shut up,
Wald's
Gary.
got a slight lisp.
Yeah. It's terrible what he's done. I just think it's terrible. That, can we all agree? I mean, it's like when I talk to people who aren't libertarians, they don't know anything really about it, but they just kind of hear the name. They go, "Oh yeah, Gary Johnson," or like Koch brothers. Like that's
It's always
the only thing
Aleppo for me now. Ever
Aleppo?
since then. Aleppo, it's every time. Libertarian Party, hey, Aleppo.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or the
everybody
guy who
does-
got naked.
No, you're right though, Mike. Everybody does know about the Koch brothers, and meanwhile, doing a libertarian podcast every week and talking and being in libertarian circles. Do you know how often the Koch brothers come up? Fucking never.
I know,
You
right?
know what the Koch brothers?
Hey
put
guys,
together
I
their
just
money towards?
I just saw Charles Koch just sign up for the Lions Liberty Pride at the.
Oh, is he at the $1,000 level? We have
No,
to tell
he's
him
at
who
the
Rico is.
$10 level, a little lower. So, but I'm just saying we might not want to talk so much shit. He actually is now funding us. I just wanted to announce that.
Do you know
Okay.
what the Koch
I'd
brothers
be so
put?
mad if he only signed up for the $10 week. Why even sign up at all? We know you have
Can you sign up
millions,
for the
man.
$1 million
Come on.
membership?
We really should have put a higher pledge level.
Go, Odie. What are you saying, Odie?
I was going to say the Koch brothers actually fund criminal justice reform. I mean, that's like their biggest thing. That's what they're all about.
Well,
the Koch
God
brothers,
damn them to hell.
the Koch
We're in
brothers
a,
and George Soros, both funding criminal justice reform. Doesn't even make any sense.
Is that
Nobody
a conspiracy
talks about
theory?
that.
Well, I do love when everyone's like all upset only about the Koch brothers like funding politics. Like I don't like pretty much every liberal person I know out here. They get hyperbolic about the Koch brothers funding everything, but you're like, oh, what about George Soros? They're like, I don't care. Like they only are mad about what they, not even what they really are funding, because, like you said, they fund criminal justice reform. They also fund like gay marriage, like marriage equality. Like they funded a lot of things that the critics should like. You know, those kind of critics should like, but they just their information about the Koch brothers is all from that shitty movie with what's his name? Who's the guy from the show that's like plays a libertarian? You guys know what I'm talking about.
This
Local
is a fucking
government
movie episode.
Help me out here. I've been drinking for a while.
Parks and Rec.
Local government, save
Parks
me!
and Recreation.
Ron Swanson.
Parks and Rec. Ron Swanson. Thank you. I almost drowned in my own stupidity there. Yeah, that was that. Well, we still never got to the movie. Wait. Has anybody seen the movie where Ron Swanson plays like a political consultant?
No.
Maybe because it was terrible, and I'm pretty sure it was released only to DVD. But there's a fake Koch brothers in there.
Oh, are you sure you're not thinking about that movie where Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell are going at it? It's actually a funny movie.
Oh, the political race. Yeah, it's pretty
campaign?
funny. Campaign, yes.
It's underratedly
does
funny.
Does that have the fake
movie.
Koch brothers with Dan Aykroyd?
Yes, Dan Aykroyd is the fake Koch brothers. Exactly.
Then I switched out Ron Swanson for Zach Galifianakis.
Galifianakis is kind of like girly in it. He's like a little feminine, and then he has to become big and like a tough political man, and he has to get rid of his pugs because Dexter, what's his face, told him to get rid of them.
Not the pugs. All right, should we talk about anything liberty related before we wind down? This has been a blast. This has been awesome.
Why ruin a good podcast with Liberty Talk?
No, I mean, this is a taste of what you got. This is a Pride preview that's really in real life. That's to the public because it's a lot of what we do. We do a lot more bullshitting, a lot more not giving a fuck. And
this has been fun. You know,
this is awesome.
It's hard being a libertarian these days. I think it's just like we're all just kind of preaching the same message, being consistent with things, being very logical about everything. Nobody gives a shit.
It doesn't seem as cool as it used to seem.
Well, or they keep writing goddamn articles about how libertarianism is a conduit to the alt-right.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, that fuckhead Christopher Cantwell. Oh, my God.
It goes like this. Murray Rothbard to Gary Johnson to Nazi. It's just like that. Like, wait, what? I don't...
Yeah.
What? I don't even...
I think,
who did more damage to the Libertarian Party? Gary Johnson or Christopher Cantwell?
To the party or the ideas
to the concepts of libertarianism.
The thing is, hardly anyone knows who Christopher Cantwell is. Hardly anyone
they know now, man. They still
don't. They don't. If you showed them video and were like, remember this guy you saw in Vice, they'd be like, yeah, I remember that guy. But no real human beings that aren't like libertarians or deeply involved in politics if you said Christopher Cantwell to most people, they have no fucking clue. And that may be the same with Gary Johnson, actually, but I mean, Cantwell's content is obviously far more damaging. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, I don't know.
He's just a messed up dude. I liked how Vice sent their most Aryan-looking reporter down. They're like, all right, let's send the blonde white chick down there. She'll get along with these guys pretty well, you know?
Dude, by the way, what has happened to Vice? They used to be one of my favorite magazines.
Oh my God.
Back when it was a magazine, right?
You could readable, unwatchable.
It's completely unwatchable now, but it used to be great. It didn't used to be this like fucking progressive head up its own ass bullshit. And now it's just like the most progressive fucking cunt rag out there. I can't even tolerate it anymore. It's like the death of something that I loved.
It's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible for people to fall into any they've fallen into this kind of progressive establishment line. They because they have to oppose Trump. They don't realize that there's other ways to going about doing that. Yeah, they used to be like punk rock and like fuck the man kind of mentality.
It was they were honestly like it was like 4chan in print. Not that extreme, but literally that's like what it was. They just were like, we don't give a fuck. Here's a magazine, and it was great. And now they're just like, we give all the fucks about liberal bullshit, and that's it. Fucking terrible.
Yeah. Well, I think talking about what's damaging libertarianism. Actually, recently there was an article in the Washington Post that was saying that libertarian and speaking of Cantwell and stuff, it says libertarians have more in common with the alt-right than they want you to think, and they have Ron Paul on the front page, and it says Ron Paul has a checkered past with racial rhetoric, and so do many libertarians. It's just such a hit piece, and I mean it's the Washington Post. They're their record. They're just
that
fucking
old chestnut.
Awful.
Yeah, the CIA's house publication, you mean?
Exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know what, though? I mean, Ron Paul brought that on himself because I guess they say that, well, it might have been Lou Rockwell or some other guy that wrote them, but Ron Paul has never come out and denounced it. He's always this guy said, I didn't have control over it. Well, it looks like shit if you didn't have control over your own fucking newsletter.
True. I mean, he needed to say something about it. That's a good point, man. And like from a PR perspective, you gotta fucking come out and like, because there's times you ignore it, and there's times you have to say something. And it's like silence is assent, basically being like, well, yep, you got me.
I have some inside info on that whole fiasco. But I'm
Maybe-
hesitant. I'm hesitant to talk
Dun, dun,
about
dun.
it.
Well, maybe we
Yeah.
can talk about it. Maybe we can tease this because maybe we can talk about it a little more in the bonus segment that we're going to read.
Ooh, subscribers only.
This is
Sorry,
a
Chunks.
high-level teaser. And also, I told Mike he can share this bonus segment with his Patreon people, too. I think, your members get some bonus stuff as well. So this can be some cross-pollination inside info. So good times.
Oh yeah.
Up to you. Depends on how controversial. I don't know what it is. So I mean, there might be nude photos involved.
It's very, very controversial.
I'm really excited about this. So, with that being said, folks, this might be the best tease we've ever had leading out of the show. But we're going to wrap things up in the way we always wrap things up, and that's with my wrap up, where I strongly suggest and advise. Actually, Mike, before I don't even know if you actually specifically said this. Where can everyone find your work at Mikeadelic?
Oh yeah, so Mikeadelic is the name of my podcast. It's on iTunes.
And you need
Google
to spell
Play.
your website name because I remember the first time I searched for it, I was typing like, "Oh, he's like is he kind of doing the play on the word Mike?" I'm like, "Mic-Adelic." I'm like, "No, that's not it." And
That's what I pictured in my head. Actually,
I had to search it a couple times, so you should spell it.
I think Mike. I think he's swung.
'Cause we're
I
all
think he's
dumber
swung
than
and
we
missed
look.
by not capitalizing on the MIC spelling.
Well,
'Cause
I
you're
got
on a
okay,
mic,
so
man.
yeah, that's true. I could have gone either way. I could have gone both ways. But actually, my website is MikeBranc.com, BRANC, and that's pretty much my name everywhere. So Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever it's at Mike Branc, and then Mikeadelic is the name of my podcast. It's Mikeadelic. And it's been a fun episode hanging with you guys and drinking. So go follow me and awesome.
All right, well, check out Mike Branc, and also stay tuned after the podcast. This will be even for you non-paying people. I actually do appreciate everyone that listens to the show, in all honesty, because without you free people listening, there would be no reason for us to have a paid group. There would no reason for us to be doing this at all, because you are the entire reason we have continued to grow. And
No reason for us to be alive, really.
Really, no. We would just be sacrificing ourselves to the asteroid.
Asteroids.
Don't call them. Don't call them free, Mark.
We're
in this
volunteering to
status
let Larry
system.
Frint do whatever he needs to do to us to fire off that asteroid gun. So, until next time, folks. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to say what I was leading up to there. I will post a preview after this, right after this. So stay tuned. Even after we sign off, a preview clip of the League of Liberty podcast, the aforementioned League of Liberty podcast. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming for you in the Pride. Not only do we have the League of Liberty, but right there, right now, it will be there by the time this is posted. We'll have this bonus segment with Mike Branc where we're going to talk about some scandal. I'm excited. Until next time, folks, live long and live
free. And always stay plugged into Liberty. Oh, come on, Odie. I thought you were going to tag yours on the end there, too, to be a dick.
No, I'm not a dick, though.
Let's talk about where we started. I've known Roger forever. I've known Roger for 4 or 5, 6 years at this point.
God, was it? It was in Cincinnati or wherever the LSLA meeting was. Gosh, 2011. Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah, and
What
you were
is the
in
LSLA?
and you were in
A Libertarian State Leadership Alliance.
and Roger was in Arkansas at that point.
Yep, Arkansas chair.
And I was the executive director of the Libertarian Party of Indiana, and I had not yet started the podcast, but in May of 2012, we started We Are Libertarians, and we've done it ever since. And I started podcasting. Roger was an early listener, and you've said that we were part of the inspiration for you starting Lava Flow.
Well, yeah, because I mean, We Are Libertarians sucked so bad, I needed to do something better.
It's not inaccurate. I mean, that's part of the free market is that when you don't hear your need being filled, then you start your own need. And that Roger just has a wildly different show than what I do, which is one of the reasons I promote him, because I need more purity. And Roger's our purity.
Well, it's better than being unpure, I guess, right?
Yeah. So, and then Marc came along, and I started seeing Lions of Liberty pop up everywhere. And so I don't remember the specific reason I reached out. Maybe, Marc, you asked me
Saw
to
the
be
hair,
on.
got jealous,
Yeah.
wanted to know my secrets.
It's the mane,
Exactly.
isn't it? It's a mane.
It's the main, exactly.
So he and I started talking, and I did an interview on his show. He did one on my show, and he was like, "Hey, have you heard this Johnny Rocket guy?"
I don't remember being on your show.
Yeah, you've been on the show.
Well, you've replayed the interviews that I've done. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's
I haven't separately been on the show uniquely. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Well,
I'm not sad about that. That's just not the kind of show you guys.
I will say I'll
have to fly to Indiana to be on your show proper.
I've been on a co-host on We Are Libertarians twice now by Skype, and then I did a remote one from PorkFest last year specifically for We Are Libertarians.
Nice.
So yeah.
Okay.
Well,
some of us are more special than others.
Now that we're doing 2 shows a week, I'm running out of co-hosts, so I'll be calling on you and Johnny a lot, and Roger.
Chris and I are fairly new in our Liberty relationship here, whereas we haven't been dating for like 8 years, like you two. Right. Liberty dating.
So
term, right?
And it
so
actually shows between you and Chris. I mean, Roger and Chris, man, you guys act like a married couple. Honestly, you guys fight more than me in heaven.
He's the bane of my fucking.
Who's the breadwinner?
But who's the bitch?
Oh, wow.
Well, come on.
Oh, please.
I like how I can say "come on" and like no one has to know who I'm actually thinking about. I'm like, come on, guys, it's obvious. Anyway, moving along.
So he tells me, "Have you heard of this Johnny Rocket guy?" And I said, "No." And so I listened to Johnny's podcast, and it pissed me off.
He's like, "You mean that like restaurant, that old like 50s diner restaurant?"
That was the first thing I thought.
Why would I? Is that guy's a libertarian? Like what?
And it pissed me off because it was so damn good. And so I said to him, maybe
You're like,
Mark,
he edits.
Right. We should hook up with Johnny and start swapping ads on each other's websites. And I said,
"Wow, swapping ads."
And then I said, "Hey, why don't we bring in
swapping
Roger?"
wives? Yeah.
We're all doing sort of the same thing. We're all independent podcasters. We don't have investors. We don't have, fancy college degrees. We have built our audiences from scratch. Let's share resources, and thus the League of Liberty was born. So
I do have a fancy college degree for the record.
It was.
But it didn't get me anywhere where I was. I mean, really, I do professionally. I work with people who have no degree compared to mine, and we do the exact same thing. And obviously, I learned all this on my own. Had nothing to do with my degree. So I mean,
what's your degree in?
Communications.
That's not right.
I guess it does have something to do with my degree.
You know what, Mark? It's pretty close.
Well, I sure didn't do podcasting.
Well, mine is.
It is pretty close.
Audio. Yeah. Fuck.
My degree is I have an associate's in IT, but the job I'm doing is actually a job that requires a master's generally, but I'm doing it anyway, so to hell with it.
I dropped out.
Yeah, well, why is anybody surprised by that?
Oh. You guys.
And look at us. We're all happy, healthy, and alive
We are.
with various levels of formal education. So
Yeah, but what's cool is when I talked to you, Mark, I said, hey, how about the Liberty League? And we were thinking like that Justice League kind of like, hey, why don't we get an all-star cast and get us all out there and start talking?
And then we settled for Chris and Roger.
No, those guys are handpicked, man. We have like we got some really cool cats here, man.
Tom Woods was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Please do not call me anymore.
My only issue is
I do a serious show.
My only issue is that the initials of League of Liberty is the same as Lions of Liberty, and
Oh, I really hadn't noticed
you
that.
had noticed that, my ass.